Good afternoon, and welcome to a very special virtual roundtable with ARCSI. So much is happening at ARCSI, and we're really excited to bring you this roundtable today. One thing I do want to mention before we get started is our HCT classes, which is our house cleaning technician trainings, are now available online. So if you haven't seen an email, check out our website. Check out ISSA's event tabs. I will be including several emails I've been sending out to our members, but we are very excited. I think obviously this pandemic has brought around a lot of changes, but we are able to offer the HCT virtually now. And so we're really excited that a lot of our companies can actually send more of their technicians through the training now without the travel costs. But with that, we're going to get started with our very special virtual roundtable, and I'm going to turn all control over to our chair of the ISSA Residential Cleaning Council, Alonzo Adams.
Thank you, Aaron. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. This is going to be an exciting call. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. We're actually going to leave it open for anyone that has questions, any concerns. We're going to leave a lot of time for you. We're here for you. We want to make sure that we're helping giving you the right information to guide you through all this uncertain time. So we're looking at what has occurred over the span of a couple months. So now we're in May. In May, it's a new opportunity for us because we understand we're going to have to deal with over 30 million plus unemployed. And there's a lot of things that we're not even sure about with the loan because some of us got the loan, some of us didn't get the loan. And the ones that got it, they're still trying to figure out what to do with the money. So we want to speak about that. We want to also talk about what's going on with the mindset of some entrepreneurs out there that's really excelling and exceeding. What are they doing? What is the secret formula to actually help you survive and thrive? Because let's put it this way. We don't want to be thinking about surviving. We want to think about thriving. And that's how we want to move forward. And we got to put things behind us and put our best foot forward and go for what we know. So my one thing, the mindset is huge. And it's huge for so many reasons. And let's just think about it. If I'm going to actually coach somebody or work with anybody, I'm looking for someone with the right mindset. That mindset that is, I can do what I need to do when I got to do it. And I will do it whatever way I need to do it. And so that mindset is something that will drive you to get to that finish line because people are struggling right now to try to figure out how to pivot, how to move. But that right mindset is the strength and the conditioning that's going to actually get you through. So, he's joining me on this call. I got two great ladies that are really making an impact in this industry, and they're about making big moves. And I said, you know what? If I was going to have people join me on this call, in this group, in this conversation, it would have to be Carrie Knight from Tampa with Maid Brigade. It actually happens to be Elena Ledoux as well, because that way we could really speak about what is it that we need to do in this uncertain time. So, Carrie, what is it that you're doing, and what is your mindset to do what you need to do?
Well, thanks for that, Alonzo. My mindset is on opportunity. So I see huge opportunity, even though life is so uncertain right now. I mean, for me, my brain never stops when it comes to what else can I do for my customer or my client? What else can I do? What additional value can I bring to their lives that we solve for them? So we're bringing in additional services, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to work, but what I'm going to tell you is that I'm taking action, and that's the key. Like, you can't just sit back and not do anything. You've got to take this as an opportunity to experiment inside your business and see what works. And for us, we have a disinfection service that we charge for. We're adding commercial, so that's new for me. I never actually did commercial cleaning. We're also doing car detailing and disinfecting. So because we have the electrostatic disinfectants, we're actually able to clean cars and disinfect them. And not too many people can actually say that. So, I mean, for me, again, it's all about, like you said, you have to have the right mindset going into this. Like, you have to forget about what's happened, forget about all the money you've lost, and just focus on what you're going to fix and change moving forward. And all that money is going to come back. You just have to have the right frame of mind and mindset to just move past everything that's happened and there's just, again, so many opportunities that are going to come out of this. So many.
You're so right, and that's just a huge. I can just feel the energy from when you say it because you believe it, and that's the
Yeah.
key. And you know, Elena, I know you're doing big things, and I know you're definitely your mindset is right where it needs to be. But what is it that you're doing out there in Vegas? You're out there in that happening area. What is it that you're doing?
Yeah, so Vegas has been hit really hard, not in terms of healthcare point of view, thankfully, but from economically, we're the hotbed of the tourism, right? Industry, so everything was shut down. So for the first couple of weeks, I was in shock, just like the rest of us. I was like in complete total denial and shock. But then I realized that this is an unprecedented opportunity to create, to show my true colors, to be an entrepreneur. This is probably never going to happen to us again, right? So I want to be able to look back and be proud of what I've done, proud that I was not afraid, and proud that I wasn't reactive and I was proactive. So my mindset was, let's put my mind 2 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. What is it that I wish I would have done? Like, what are the things? So the first thing we started doing is started serving our community, because we had, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, we had the Mandela Bay shooting. And so, and it was such a shock and trauma to us. So it was like a little preview of what's happening now. And what we're able to do is to pivot and actually help our community. We're helping and cleaning first responders' homes for free. We're like being out there and just kind of like part of that whole sentiment. So we started doing that again right away. And that actually was really good in healing for us and helped me put my mind out there and kind of grow beyond that, right? Zoom out of that trauma. And then the other thing we started doing is like serving our customers' needs. So customers were saying, I'm stuck at home, I'm scared, I'm with kids, I'm vulnerable population, I can't have you guys in. And most of the time you'd be like, okay, thank you, you'll hang up. But then it's hard to hear that and just ignore it. So we started saying, what if we, start offering delivery, grocery deliveries, medication deliveries, whatever deliveries you need, just pay us for a time, just as the cleaning time. You're gonna have well-paid, trained person with full PPE gear who is obsessed with disinfection and cleanliness, right? And with a company that you know and trust, who is better to deliver that? That or the person who is underpaid and abused and actually backlogged for 2 to 4 weeks. Even today is backlogged. So we started doing grocery deliveries. I'm not gonna say that's gonna be my new bread and butter, but everybody loves the little guys now. We got so much cheering on. We've been on every TV station, every newspaper, just so much community support. People are saying like, we love what you're doing. They love seeing us hustle. They love seeing us thrive. They love us not going down without a fight, right? So it was great for my soul. It was great for our staff, kept us busy. It actually did bring the revenue. So that's one of the things that we did, and as well as the community support, and as well as disinfection, just like what Carrie says, that's what the country needs right now. That's what we're doing, and it's gaining traction.
Elena, you are so good with getting out and the proper PR. I mean, I see you everywhere. So tell me and tell us, all of us, what would you recommend that we do to try to get some PR, some attention to bring this to the media in our areas? Because this can be huge, and most of us are not tapping into this opportunity, including myself. And I would like to really know how could we take steps to get in front of the media and get this attention for PR.
Sure. So conceptually, first of all, think about what is it that what is newsworthy, right? They want to see feel good community support story. Yes. They want to see some small business succeeding. Yes. They want to see something heartwarming or beautiful. Yes. So you have to come at it at that angle that they want to hear and highlight anyways. And if you look at watch your local stations or read your local newspapers, you'll see the kind of stories that jive with them. We had this screen maker locally in Vegas, in Henderson. They're converted into making masks and PPE gear. So that's newsworthy, right? So as delivering groceries, that's newsworthy. Like everybody understands this instantly. So you can start thinking in those terms, like what is it that is about what you're doing is newsworthy. For example, for Carrie, that would be sanitizing cars. You can go approach the police department and be like, hey, we can offer first responders. Like this is something we can offer. So it's good for your karma, something that you normally do anyways. You support your community, but now it's also newsworthy, right? So you just have to like view it from the journalist, prism. And then second is make their life easy. Right now, the journalists, they're already being underpaid and overworked, but now they work even harder, but they don't have anything. They have literally like, they have to interview everybody by Zoom. They're like, they can't go to their stations. So if you reach out to them, make their life easy, write a little short snippet as to what's the newsworthy, like how are you authority on that. Just put your cell phone number, say, I'm always available. I have the equipment, I have the mic, I have the lights, whatever is it. Just understand that you are trying, they should understand that they don't have any trouble or friction with you, right? So it's ready, it's plug and play. They're going to be like, oh, thank God, okay, come on in. It's like, yes, I want somebody who understands what they're doing, because it's a shortcut for them. Give them that shortcut.
I love it. I love it. So, Carrie, you did what I did. We shut down for a small period of time, and then we decided to reopen. Now, there's businesses now that are still closed, and they're on the fence about when are we going to open up, and when we decide to open up, what is it going to look like, and what do we need to do to prepare to open up? How could you guide someone that's right now, they're a little bit conflicted, they're not really sure how to open up, and when they do open up, what is it going to look like?
So, I mean, the number one thing that I would say based upon my own experience is that the communication with your client should never really stop. Even though you're closed, it's still a great opportunity for you to call them and let them know that you're there. And that's the first thing that I did. I called a lot of my long-term customers. I've been in business, this is my 13th year. I've had customers for 13 years. I literally picked up the phone when this happened, and I just had a conversation with them and told them, here's my cell phone number. Call me if you need me for anything. If you need me to go to the grocery store for you, if you need me to pick up anything for you. I mean, and it wasn't about them giving me money or, whatever. It was not about that. It was about me telling them that I'm here for you if you need me because of the relationship I have with them. Now, I couldn't do that for all my customers, but I certainly did it for those that I have a relationship with, that I wanted them to know that I was thinking of them. I even had one customer who was going in for surgery. It was like 2 days before this craziness. And I said to her husband, I said, if there's anything that she needs, here's my cell phone number, text me, I'll bring it to you, whatever you need. So that's number one, is being a human being first and letting them know that you care about them. And the communication can't stop. Just because you're closed, you can't stop, whether it's emailing them or texting them, just letting them know you're just an arm's reach away, even a phone call, whatever they need. So that communication has to be there constantly. And then you've got to put steps in place for your office for how you're going to handle this. What's your protocol moving forward? So are your employees going to come to the office? And if they are, what does that look like? So you can't have 10 people in a room, and we know social distancing is still in effect. You have to handle all of these obstacles now. And then we've got to introduce PPE. So it's like you have to have, before you hit go, you better have a game plan. But my number one recommendation is never stop communication with your client. That's the lifeblood to everything that we do, is constant communication, that they know that we're here and that we care.
Any recommendations from you, Elena or Carrie, as to what to use? Is it through email? Is it through phone calls? Is it, Elena, you make videos, and it's just real ways that people can really, how you're connecting in multiple ways. What would you say is like some of the best ways to actually reach out to your clients?
Well, the way we do it is through email or text. I prefer to email the newsletters, and the way I love newsletters is when they have nothing to do with your business. So I coach for the AGS Conquer group, and one of my clients this morning literally said, because I was harassing them about sending newsletters. So he finally, they're saying like, what newsletters about what? And I said, something about what you're doing right now. Like, what are you up to? Just show your human face. So he said, well, I don't have any kids, I don't have any pets, I don't have anything cute to display. But what am I doing? I'm making cookies at home with my wife. So he sent the cookie recipe to all of his clients, and it had a huge success and traction. People were so excited about the cookies, and he got a bunch of business out of that. Not a word about the services that they offer, right? And I told them, of course, cookies are love. In the sugar is love, cookies are love. If you show love to your customers, you're gonna get love back. And that's how I view it. How do I show love in whatever way? If there's a one customer, I love what Carrie was saying, like you can show individual love, like you can bring flowers to your customers, you can bring cupcakes, or you can, you know, send them cookie recipe or something else.
Or a
That's
great
my,
margarita recipe for Cinco de Mayo.
yeah. Yeah, always. Yes.
So, I mean, that's just great information. The one thing that I notice everything about in your company has to be about tone. And I'm a tone setter. So I know as a leader, I set the tone. And the tone has to be one, whatever the situation is, we win. We find a way to win every day. And I noticed something by monitoring, doing a monitoring of calls that were coming in, because I'm a very engaged owner. And I love working also with owners that are engaged. Sometimes we talk about, you know, the employees being engaged. You want your employees to be engaged. I like an engaged owner. And the reason why I say that is because they really have their finger on the pulse of their company, and they can feel it. And the DNA of that owner, it just eludes all through the company. And the one thing I noticed is how they were answering the phone here at my company. And so it goes a little like this. The customer calls, and you know, the customer's not really sure 100% what's going on in your company. They're not sure about the mood, the tone, any of that. And so your people answer the phone, and when they answer the phone, the tone has to be a winning tone. So I'm hearing a conversation like this. Good afternoon, Busy Bee Cleaning Company. How can I help you? And I was like, we gotta turn it up. Turn it up. Let's put the enthusiasm in the voice. And then the customer goes, how are you guys doing? How are you making out?
Right.
We're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything is great. That's the tone that has to be set, because I've called other companies and the people don't have that tone. They're flat, and you have to get something inspired into them. We're on fire. We're on fire, and we're firing on all cylinders. And that is a big game changer for any company with a leader that is setting the tone. So how do you guys, you know, look to inspire your people? Because your people, you know, again, they're going out there to this thing, and they're facing this virus, and they're not sure if they're going to get sick. They're going to get other people sick. They're watching the news. They're talking to family. What do you do? How do you really keep your people focused on handling their responsibilities? Carrie.
That's a good question. I mean, from our standpoint, again, it goes back to that constant communication. We've had it's probably tailed back a little or scaled back a little bit now with constant meetings, almost like daily communication meetings, kind of like a State of the Union, because it was changing every day. So we would have a meeting outside, social distancing, and just, you know, letting them know about what to expect, our PPE, and really, you know, using words like, you guys are amazing, you know, you're on the front line, and people and our customers appreciate you, you know, just really letting them know that we appreciate them and we understand that they're the ones. Like, I'm not the one out there entering in, you know, people's homes, that they're the ones that are going on the front line. They don't know what to expect. But, you know, with our daily meetings, it was setting the tone that we appreciate them, and so do our customers.
That's really good information. Elena, what are you doing to keep your people motivated and inspired?
I record them videos and I post them in our Slack channel. And basically, I show them not a polished version of me, but basically real version. So when I was in stressed out and shock mode, I recorded like video of me, like basically almost on the ground and saying like, hey guys, things are hard. Let's hang in there. Like, it's like a human face. They really appreciated that. They're like, we support you. Like, it's okay to lean on them, right? Because they always lean on us. So it's like sincerity was big. And then uncertainty was big. I said, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, when we had a cascading cancellations, I was very honest about it. I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll do my best. I work my ass off. I'm always working, trying to find more business for you guys. We're pivoting. I listed all the things that we're trying to do for them, right? And I said, I appreciate you, like, for what you're doing. I give them choices. And then I also said, what we normally do is I always tell them, show some love for our customers, right? Like, treat them like you would your grandma, right? Show some care, make them smile, make them feel appreciated, right? So it's just kind of reminding, going back to our DNA and what made our company great, like go back to that. And then, like, as the time progressed, the videos became more and more cheerful and upbeat because we started climbing out of it. So I took them to this whole journey. Because a lot of times our employees could be like kids. They don't see all the stress we're facing, the bills that we have to pay, all the hardships that we have to encounter, all the sleepless nights. So I kind of open the gates and or pull the curtain a little bit and let them peek to see like how I am actually stressed out, because it was unprecedented event. It was very stressful, and I could see what compounded it. I have a lot of friends who are small business owners, and I've seen how devastated they were, completely wiped out, right? Wiped out, and I don't know if they're ever going to recover. So it really was stressful for me. And I was also very concerned that my employees, if I lay them off, they won't be able to get any benefits because there's disruption, right? Like millions of people applying at the same time. That's not going to be good. So I kind of painted that picture for them, and I said, like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, tell me what you're thinking. What do you guys want to do? Let's decide together. Like, do you want to keep going? Do you want to shut down? Like, what do you want to do? And they're like, no, we want to keep going. We want this, we want that, but we want to keep going. We want to keep our jobs. So that's what we did. So it was a joint decision and was based on sincerity and honesty.
That's a great example of leadership.
It absolutely is. And, Carrie, just coming back to what Elena's saying there. So you closed down again like I did, and
Right.
you made a decision to close down. What was the decision for you to close down, and what was the decision to say it's time to get back in the game?
Yeah, it was just the fear in our employees. That's truly what ultimately led to us closing. They were terrified. And I'll tell you why they were terrified. It's everything that you listen to. So if you choose to fill your head with whatever, let's just say, I'm not making this political, but I'm saying if you're going to listen to doom and gloom, then that's where your mind is going to take you. So if you are only hearing that constant message of doom and gloom and fear, the fear tactics that a lot of these communication channels used were horrendous. And so our employees were listening to their radio stations, and it was telling them all these horrible things that these small business owners were doing by making them work, which we were not making them work. And each day, you could cut the tension with a knife. It was so bad, progressively each day, with the fear, and they would talk to each other. So then the gossip kind of started. And so it was just one day where we heard someone saying, I heard on the radio station that if people like you are keeping us open, that we should get a lawyer and sue. And my husband and I looked at each other and we're like, we're not doing anything illegal. And in fact, every step and every move we've made is to protect you guys and keep you safe. We realized at that time that we needed to let them, it was like, as the leaders of this company, we needed to let them go home and sit there and see for themselves that everything's going to be okay. But we needed a 2-week, just let the troops rest and rest their minds, or whatever it is, just the kind of a calming of the troops. And that's what we did. So for 2 weeks, they went home. We didn't, really have much communication with them during that time. I'll tell you, for the 2 weeks, we worked our butts off to make sure that our system was in place, like everything was disinfected, and we hustled. We really hustled and put in protocols. So when they were ready to come back to work, it was like hit go and we were ready to go. But for us, Alonzo, it was more about, as leaders of the company, we knew that we really needed to make them feel safe. And so as much as it pained us, that was the right decision at the right time.
Good answer.
Yeah.
So, Elena, you decided to stay open, and you stayed open, and that was leadership. because you felt comfortable that you could lead your company through this, as what Carrie is speaking about, because there's different messages and information coming at your staff as well as your customers. So you stayed strong, you stayed open, and there was even people I noticed on social media that was commenting about you're open, and some
Mhm.
people looked at it in a negative way,
Right.
but you stayed firm in what you're doing. And what was it that made you stay committed to what you were doing?
I don't like operating based on emotion. I like I'm like a Spock. I like facts. So I went and researched facts, and that's what I kept thinking, like, why am I agonizing so much over these decisions? And I realized because normally we make decisions based on facts. And back like 4 weeks ago, there were no facts. Nobody knew anything about corona or unemployment benefits or like any loans, or it was just that all legalities and exposure liabilities. It was complete chaos and soup. That's what made it so frustrating. So I was like, okay, I can try to find the facts. So I went over and I talked to friends of mine, like who are first responders, and I said, like, tell me, like, what's happening? What's the truth? What's the truth? And some of my friends I have a friend who's a doctor. He's a researcher. He was dealing with Ebola in Africa. It doesn't get more hardcore than that. So I asked him, tell me the truth. Like, is it this bad? Like, do we need to stay down? Like, and it's very specific for the locality, of course. So in Vegas, it wasn't that bad. In reality, it wasn't that bad. It's still not that bad. So I think because I've heard this propaganda is what Carrie is referring to from every like Iron and every Facebook and every TV station, like, you're all gonna die, you're all gonna die, right? So people get like this in their mind, we're all gonna die, right? And I was thinking I need to be like our own propaganda machine and be like, no, we're not gonna die. We're okay. We're good. We're helping you. We're saving, which we were. And if, in fact, the first responders, friends of mine, they're like, don't you dare shutting down. Like, we need you. We need you out there killing the germs, killing the virus. So do not dare shutting down. And so I knew the truth, and I find comfort in the truth. It doesn't matter to me how people perceive me. What matters to me is like, what is the reality? Because I was born in Soviet Union. There's a lot of propaganda, right? And so for me, it was really hard, even as a child, to act like people want me to act. And I was always comfortable acting like, what is the truth? Like, what is my truth? Because I got to live with myself for the rest of my life, right? So I need to make sure I'm making the right decision by me, not by what the TV said, not how public judges me. The one thing we did, though, to kind of alleviate that is we highlighted the community support work that we've been doing. Like, we've been cleaning for free, sanitizing this home which we're still doing, where the nurses and doctors stay that are isolating from their families because of the corona concerns. So that's something, we didn't do this for PR. Somebody just asked us, so we're like, of course we'll do it. So we're just doing that, but putting it out there created instant shield, right? You can see we're essential, exactly why. And this is not the only thing we did. We actually sanitized and delivered toys and basic necessities for like organizations that save children, for foster families. So all these things. So like, you can't shut us down. We're essential. And like, if you want to say something about it, you go out there and do all that stuff. Somebody has to do it, right? And that helped us tremendously.
Would you say that too is a mindset? Because again, it does take the mindset to say, how you're approaching this, how you're seeing this, and how you're actually going to combat all of that coming at you.
Yes, and I'm famous now as like a Buffalo person because I always say my favorite saying and the life principle by which I live is Native American saying, which is when the thunder strikes, cows run away from it and buffaloes run towards it. So every morning I get to ask myself when I wake up, am I a buffalo or am I a cow? And even when I feel like a cow, like I did for the first 2 weeks of last month, I choose to act like a buffalo because I want to have a buffalo outcome. I don't want to be made into a hamburger, or anything like that. So I choose to run towards it and head on, tackle it head on. Even if I go down, at least I tried. At least I came down on my own terms. It wasn't like it was forced on me, So I'm a control freak, too much for that. So I want to make sure I participate in my destiny.
But that's great advice. I mean, when you're the buffalo, you don't have all the answers. You just know you're going to run through it and you're going to get through it faster because you took action. So, I mean, that's just it. Like, in all of the cleaning business owners who are listening to this, you need to be the buffalo. You just got to run through this and get through it as fast as you can, because what's on the other side is it's thriving, you know, not surviving, it's thriving, getting better than where you were even before. So it's just getting through this as fast as you can. And you just got to have that the buffalo mindset to get through it.
It's huge, and that's what's important is when you look at an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur has to be raw in his thinking, and it's the raw thinking has to be is that regardless, I'm going to go down on my shield. I'm going to fall on my sword. You have to have that same type of mentality because right now, you know, there is a warfare that's happening right now. But you got to be prepared to go to war, you know, and I'm going to defend my kingdom. And my kingdom is built with bricks around it. Some people's kingdom is just built with sticks around it. So if you're coming here for what I built, you know, you have to have some kind of fight in you that you're going to defend that and you're going to fight for it.
Right.
That being said, we're starting to get some questions coming in.
Okay.
It's about time to start answering some questions. You know, one of the questions that just came up is, okay, this person had closed down. They were closed down for 6 weeks, and they're asking, is it too late to have any type of introduction of extra services, you know, in the cities that they're opening up this week? Is there any kind of way that they can still do this? And I guess what kind of services would you guys recommend?
I mean, certainly right now, what people want is they want to feel safe. So does that mean you're disinfecting? Does that mean you're sanitizing? What do you have that's making them safe? So it doesn't have to be an additional service. Like I have the electrostatic machines. You're not going to find those. They're not available anymore. Like, I don't even know if you'll get them this year. That's how much in demand they are.
For $20,000.
Exactly. So it's not worth $20,000. But how are you going to maybe the touch point surfaces throughout their home? You know, how are you going to keep their keyboard and the handles in their home disinfected because that's what they're touching most. So it's all around safety. The messaging is around safety. You can add additional services like we did with the car detailing and disinfecting. I was lucky because I already had somebody in play. Like I didn't use my existing employees. It's actually my daughter's boyfriend who worked for Honda cleaning cars for a couple of years and he was unemployed. So for me, it was a perfect fit. And then I have the electrostatic machine. So all of that is totally doable, and people, you want to continue to add value. So in order, you know, the more value you add, the more valuable you become to your client. So I do believe in adding extra services, but that's after you've come up with a game plan for getting your residential cleaning service back up and running. So I mean, it can be done in tandem, but it's, you know, when you're talking about disinfection services, it's going to be hard to get any of those machines, no matter, you know, the fogger, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. All of that technology is in huge demand right now.
And you know what, that's great information you just gave us. Thinking about that, so again, Elena, you know about the fogging, Carrie with the disinfectant sprayer. Let's think about this for a second. Anyone that's out there, even if they could get their hands on it, how would you say they should go about approaching into that business? Is this something they should dive all the way into, or they should cautiously go into it? Should they have it figured out before they actually buy the machine?
I would say first do the research. Read up as much as possible. What does it take to kill corona? Read the CDC guidelines. Look up which chemicals were approved by EPA. Talk to your peers in the community, in the group here online, and figure out like what's the actual reality of it. Because there's a lot of noise. We all know that disinfection is the hot thing right now, right? But just find out the reality and look at your market. You know, ask your clients, like email them and see if there might be an interest. Because the immediate thing that we started doing without anything, like without even having any equipment or anything, is just 51 point touch point disinfection of high touch areas. Anybody can do that. You already have everything you need. You have the disinfectants, you have the cloth. Apparently that is the preferred way to kill coronavirus, right? Is with that, not even spraying. So that it just like recently the news started coming out. So you can do that immediately, and you can highlight that to your clients. And you're like, I was already doing that all along. Well, now is the time to actually highlight, because usually people hire us as a luxury. They don't realize that we kill all the germs. You know, majority of them don't even care about that. But now it's time to remind them. Right. And like The lowest hanging fruit is your existing customers. So just email them, text them, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Any interest in that? And then you will fill your pipeline. And it's not too late. And if there is any interest, so for example, even for grocery deliveries, I put up the little like splash page on our website, and I blasted our customers, any interest in that? And people are like, yeah, actually, now that you mention it, it's a great idea. So if they say no, that would be the end of that service. So it's like, as you know, you're in business once somebody gives you the dollars, right? The minute somebody gives you the dollars for the service, you're in. So just try it. The only caution I would say is like, don't run out and spend $20,000 or something that you're never gonna need. I bought the chemicals, the vinyl oxide, 2 giant barrels, but I knew that if this fogging thing doesn't take off, I could still use the disinfectant, so it's not a loss to me, right? So just kind of hedge your expenses. Don't go crazy and invest in all kinds of new equipment and stuff and chemicals. That's my advice.
Yeah, and this
So,
virus is going to go away. I mean, it's going to go away. We're not going to talk about this maybe, I don't know when, maybe next year, 2 years. It will go away. It's going to be replaced with something else, but it will go away. And so, like what you just said, don't spend $20,000 on some technology that's relevant right now, that may not be relevant in 6 to 8 months, you know.
so a question is just popped up in regards to that. So the spray treatments, are they in commercial space or residential?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's more in demand right now for commercial buildings because they have to keep employees and customers safe, and they have to prove that they're taking steps. I think even the government has put in some guidelines for that of frequency of cleaning and disinfecting. So right now, that's going to be the hot button is commercial. Of course, residential clients want to have their homes cleaned and disinfected, but like Elena said, for 100 years now, we've all been marketing as a luxury business, give you back your free time. So we've taught them that we're a luxury. So now we have to retrain them that we're not only a luxury, we're also keeping you safe. So you get your free time, but we're also keeping your entire home protected from viruses and bacteria.
That's a good
Yeah.
answer. Let's look at this grocery delivery. So that's a question that's popping up. So someone's looking to say, should I add that to my services? Should I do groceries? Should I do like prescriptions, picking up prescriptions? Is this something you would recommend, Elena, to the audience?
I would recommend there's a need for it. So the reason why we started offering is not only because our customers were saying that they're screwed without it, but when I looked, I actually immediately hopped on the apps, like I think it was Uber, not Uber Eats, one of those grocery delivery apps, and Instacart, and saw that you can't actually get any groceries. And then I tried different apps and you couldn't get anything either. So then it's a horrific choice. Like if you're at home and you have like immunocompromised children or parents, and then you're afraid to go outside, but you have somebody has to bring you groceries, and Instacart is down again for the next Costco is down backlog by 4 weeks, and they have like tremendous capacity for operations and logistics. They're backlogged today for 4 weeks to get your groceries in. So are you supposed to starve? Like, what are you supposed to do? So if you find that, and that situation changes rapidly, right? And I thought by now it'll be resolved, but it's not. So it's like, look at your situation around yourself, around what your customers are facing, and just kind of test the waters. Post it on your Facebook thing saying like, we're thinking about offering this. Is there any interest? Do you guys need that? Because if you do, we're here. Because you don't need anything to get it up and running, right? There's no investment. So you can send an email to your customers, like a survey, or even just a question, or even the video of you asking, hey, we're thinking there's a need for that. Do you guys need it or not? And if the people start saying, yes, we need it, please do it, then do it. If they say no and there's crickets, then don't do it. So, or if your Instacart in your town is running fine, or everybody goes to farmers market, have their own like backyard garden, then there's no need. So it's very much your local decision based on your circumstances.
And that seems like it would require some work and investment of time as well. It's just not like you can just set this up and this thing is just, you can get this going like tomorrow, right? I mean, this takes a
You
little
get
bit
it
of time.
now. Just send an email to your customers, and your customers say, yeah, like here's take the credit card and then give the I even was gonna create this like Slack channel, individual channel connecting the shopper and the customer. I created this whole structure in one afternoon. And they're like, oh, no need. I will just text. We'll just email you our shopping list. Just go for it. And then the shoppers are just texting customers directly, like, is this the carrots that you want? Yeah, it's fine. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Like, you guys are getting paid, so just like let go of that structure. But it was up and running one afternoon. So it's not a high. Don't make it all pretty and don't overthink it. It's like just do it.
It's
Be
a
like
key.
Nike.
We're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that everything that we're describing right now is what I would consider survival tactics. So since
Right.
it's May,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be able to move on in a couple weeks from thinking just survive and getting back to thrive. So
Yeah.
if you haven't, yeah,
I agree with you.
if you haven't implemented survival tactics, I think it's time to thrive now. I don't think we need to focus on surviving, but we still need to be like that buffalo and keep charging ahead. You've got to continue to take massive action. Take massive action in your business. It's the fastest way to success. But again, you can't sit back and hope that things are going to change, because it just doesn't work like that. You have to take massive action, and the communication, as we said before, is huge with your clients. Don't miss that opportunity to constantly be communicating with your customers, whatever they want, what more can you add? But just, you have to keep that communications channel open, whether it's constant contact, texting, videos. I love that you did videos. But again, going back to what I just said originally, it's time to thrive now. I think we've moved past survive, maybe not in all parts of the country, but if somebody hasn't put in survival tactics, I really wouldn't worry about it now. It's more about getting back to normal and thriving.
You got to make moves based off of the time.
Yeah.
Everything timing, and moves, like my moves are different. They're very, I would say, very cougar-like, because I'm not moving erratically, and it's always going to be a chess move, so it's strategic, and it's basically, if people are all running to the left, Alonzo's going to the right, because I guarantee you, to the right is where the money's at, and I'm always running in the direction of the money. But speaking of the money, and this is great. We have these conversations, and we want to put this out there. Some businesses were in better shape than other businesses were before this happened. I mean, they were really not in the position to really get hit with this. And I kind of look at it like this. So this coronavirus, how it happens is that your immune system is weak, right? You know you're a candidate that's going to possibly get taken out. Now, as a business, if your immune system is weak, you're going to possibly get taken out as well. And the survival rate for these businesses is very low. And especially as we're looking at the loans, we have companies that need that money like now, like in the next hour, they need that money because they're just hanging on by a thread. And what can we do as business owners and for our businesses to position ourselves better? Because I'm all about making the money, and I'm all about protecting the money too. And that's a lot that we don't hear that in ARCSI. Make the money, make the money. Okay, what about the unsexy? Protect the money. Oh, protect the money. What is that? How do you protect the money? You have to understand that you have to have some reserves based off of situations that could occur. And I teach that all the time. You should, at a minimum, be prepared for 6 months. And that's why when I hear sometimes people's like, hey, listen, we're probably not going to survive the month if we don't get the money. So what would you say is a key thing that you would recommend to owners right now that they could do to position themselves, for this comes again, this happens, or, you get momentum, you start going, this thing comes back in the fall. How do you want to be positioned and not caught with your pants down?
I can go. So for me, I teach this too, is your overall customer experience has to be the best that it can be. From beginning to end, the customer experience of doing business with your company better be in check. Like right now is the time you better get that in check. And when you know you're good, that's when you charge more money. I do not like that everyone in this industry feels like they need to discount. That's actually, it's my least favorite thing about our industry is the whole discounting thing. I believe it is a premium service that we should be able to charge a premium price for. And therefore, I mean, you're going to be collecting more money, but you better make sure that your business from start to finish is in check, meaning people walk away with saying, oh my God, that was a great experience. I love doing business with that company. So that's first and foremost, is get your business right and then charge accordingly and stop discounting. And the other thing is, I see this all the time where people go and buy fancy cars on lease, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go get 5 cars and it's only $600 a month or $500 a month for a car. That's huge money when you're talking about a cash flow business like residential cleaning. We're a cash flow business, and some of it, you know, we're a little bit seasonal, let's be honest. And so having an expense like leased cars, it's way too much money for our industry. We buy $5,000 cars. I'll just be honest, we do. I've got 13 of them. That's all we need. That's all we need to do what we need to do. And I don't have car payments. If I had car payments, I would be crying right now. So I think just my advice is to try to be as diligent as you can about spending the money. And like you said, you got to save for a rainy day. And then I'm on my high horse when it comes to charging a premium and stop discounting.
Great stuff, Carrie. Elena.
For me, we want to make sure that we make money for every job. So it's almost like P&L. Run the P&L every job you do. You need to make sure, like, you know what your costs are, and you make sure there's a really thick profit on top. So if you do, and then you multiply it across your whole company, across all the jobs, and at the end of the day, you'll be profitable because you have no choice. Because every single job you did, unless it's a charity work, you made money. So you make money at the end of the day. A lot of people, I see a lot of times people are like, well, I'll do it higher volume work or whatever, maybe low margin, higher volume. Like, no, because that means like you do more work for less amount of money. Just like, no. Just make sure you make a lot of money every single time you do a job, right? So that's really important to me. And second, I'm also a subscriber to like keep your overhead extremely low. In fact, people, when they see my car, they always are like, why are you driving a Scion IA? And I'm like, because I'm cheap. but you know, all of my, you know, staff have nicer cars than I do, but I have no stress. And I learned that through my prior recessions that I survived. Like, keep your overhead extremely low.
Right.
I also say don't buy anything unless you really need it and you're like bleeding and dying that you need it and it's going on for several months. Then okay, go ahead and buy that and pay the cheapest price you can. A lot of times people are like, oh, I need this. They're like, I have this idea. I'm gonna run out and spend the money on that idea. Don't do that. Like, make sure you actually need it and wait on it and then buy it and still make sure you're making profit with it. So I don't do like complex calculations or detailed budgeting as much as I should. I do like maybe once or twice a year, but I don't micromanage every single thing. But I know every single job we do, we're profitable. That's it. That makes it very easy. Oh, and then make sure that you take prepayments, like take the credit card, and then as soon as you're done, you charge it, right? So then I have no accounts payables. Zero.
Oh, yes. You should never float a loan to your customers, ever,
Yeah.
ever. We're not in that business. We get paid right away.
Yeah, I assume,
we are not the bank.
but apparently not. So yeah.
You know, so many people in this business, they don't. And you know what's funny is that this advice, what we're telling people, some people are afraid to operate at that level, but that's being an entrepreneur at its finest. You have to have that type of mindset and that type of execution, because some people are like, well, you know, my clients want to pay on these terms. You determine and dictate how your business runs. When your customer starts telling you how to run your business, then you're no longer an entrepreneur or the business owner. You're just an employee in my book. And when you look at about a budget, I've never budgeted. This is 28 years. I don't even know what a budget is. You know, honestly, I don't know what a budget is. I don't know what a budget is in my personal life or in my business. And And anyone that knows me, they know everything I do is on a very luxurious manner. Everything's, very, 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 I would say very plush living, But the bottom line is this, is that if you do things right and you understand money, you can make money. If you don't fully understand that, you got to really get with a coach or somebody that can teach you the art of money. That being said, our time is getting close to wrapping up. The PPP loan here. Some people again got it, some people didn't. We all know that we have the 8 weeks with this, and we know that you got 75% of this has to go on the payroll side. So a question that's coming up for the business owners, they got this money, but they got people that's unemployed, okay? And so has anyone thought about offering a comeback bonus to the Rockstar employees or a sign-on bonus to new hires to lure them off of unemployment? It's just a thought that they have. Has anybody thought that they would utilize the money in that fashion or try to approach it from that perspective?
Why is your rock star on unemployment? They should be the one clamoring to come back. Anybody who doesn't want to work for me and prefer unemployment, I don't want them either.
I'm right
And
with you.
we don't have those. So find better employees.
I think right now where we sit, I don't think anybody's left on unemployment. I have a unique situation I won't go into right now, but I have 2 employees who are not back. It's just a unique setup, but they will be back. And we just got notice yesterday that we're getting the PPP. So in my case, we're going to make sure that we're adding staff, and that means, I'll be honest, my kids work in the business, they're going to be added as employees. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that I've got those labor numbers to support that 75% of my loan. So I think everyone has to do that. Like, bring everybody back. You're gonna, even if it requires a bonus, I suppose it's money in the bank, literally, if you bring people back.
Just remember that if for some reason it doesn't get forgiven, part of it will not get forgiven. It's much easier to take it back from your kids than from your actual employees. So just keep that in mind.
So true.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about yesterday, and Elena, you brought up a point about being smart with that money, because just let's say they don't forgive all that money and it's a portion, or you have to give back more than you anticipated. How should you approach that? How should you position yourself to not get smashed if they're like, we want that money back?
Assume that they will not forgive you everything. So just try to read the rules and do whatever they tell you to do, but don't pay employees for not doing anything. I know they say, go ahead and do it, we'll forgive you. But I don't know that. Like, if I'm going to pay somebody for not working, might as well be my kids, or something like that, or my partner's kids. So it's like, to me, I want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So I would say I would rather discount the services and try to sell as much service as possible. And you can go ahead and offer positions back to your Rockstar employees, tell them to come back in at their regular rate of pay. But I wouldn't just start throwing money at them, considering you may not, because there's formulas that they're still not giving us, how they're going to calculate it. Let's say they give you a formula, you spend all this money in bonuses, brought back these people, lured in new people, and paid all this money out, and now here you go, here's the formula, you have to pay like 40% of it back. Try going back to those employees, and good luck to you with that. That's just not going to happen. With kids, it's much easier. Family. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Just hedge your bets, set yourself up, and position yourself in a way that you cannot lose. If you have to refund the money, that's fine. As long as you have the money, then you're not in trouble. But if you spend the money and now you have to refund it, then you're screwed.
And you should again operate with that mindset. It's possible, hey, some of this money they're going to ask for back. So if you go in this totally and blow whatever amount you have, you could be on the hook for a nice portion of that money. Someone has a question about, can I pay myself as the owner with the PPP loan? I can answer that quickly. No, you cannot pay yourself from that loan. Another question, and let me go back to that as well. So say people are looking for information, where could we direct people to go to get more information about the loan? Because again, there's a lot of questions. There's still things that's uncertain. things that's not clear, but people are still trying to find information. I would say the first resource would be to go to the SBA site, would be one of the first sites. They're not 100% clear on everything that you would want them to be clear on. So there is some people with interpretations of some of these things, but the bottom line is that there's information that I understand right now that's coming out like every Monday where they're tweaking this thing. Because again, this is not the best thing for the loan. When you look at an entrepreneur, you're like, is this the best loan or the best situation? It's not perfect by no stretch, but they are tweaking this thing, what I understand, on a weekly basis to try to be more accommodating to what the real issues are for the business owner. And Elena, I think you're getting ready to say something as well.
I think actually I am gonna pay myself, and it's not clear if you can or cannot. But I know, like, I have several companies. One of them is the LLC where I'm a sole member, and I know for that you are allowed to pay yourself because that's all, you're your only employee. In this case, where you have multiple employees, I'm actually doing the work for my company, so I'm gonna try to pay myself, and if it gets denied or rejected or not forgiven, I'll just pay it back. At least I'm gonna still have the money. And then I would say I would advise people to go to their bank. Whoever is issuing the loan is the same entity to forgive the loan. So you go to them and tell them, like, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Is that cool with you? And if they say yes, then you're good.
That's really good point. Really good point. Someone's asked, is this call going to be recorded? Yes, it is going to be recorded. Another question that we have is about the social distancing with the employees. And it's a little bit of a long question, so please bear with me. They said they're actually planning on reopening, and they realize that they can't have all the employees in the office at the same time. So are we staggering arrival times to the office, limiting teams to only 2 people? You know, how are you guys handling that? I can answer that quickly myself. You know, we are staggering people, and we won't let more than like 6 people in at a time. So that's how we're staggering people to come in, and they're staggered by times. We will have people come in at 7:20, 7:30, 7:40, and on until we get everybody taken care of. Carrie, I think because you operate, Elena, you operate different, so your people don't come to the office.
Yeah, we never had them come to the office because I just want them to go straight to the customer. It saves them time. Saves us in payroll, so they just go. And so we just continue doing that. We have very minimal, it's like, just rethink it. Do you really need them to come to the office? You know, we have supervisors, they have to fill out the form to pick up chemicals, maybe twice a month. We'll pay them for that time to come in. And because they send it ahead of time, we know when they're going to come in. We know exactly, everything is put together for them. They just drive up, we just put it in the trunk, and they're done. Now, other than that, they never come to the office unless they're in trouble or something. So yeah. There's no need.
And I think this is probably a good time too for us to actually, you know, think about different changes we can do to our business, because, you know, I've looked at that idea. Do I want people to come to the office? I mean, if I actually redid the business model, I think I would, one, not have an office, and I would not have the people come to the office, you know, because that takes out one expense, even though I do own the building, so I am the landlord. But it just takes that out of the equation of having to deal with a structure. And this business, this house cleaning business is evolving, and it's evolving into that you don't need to have a physical location. The other component to the question that she has is that, you know, what does this really look like for us? You know, and this is a question I have seen, it's popping up from a lot of people. What does it look like now, being that now we have this virus versus what it looked like before? You know, example, like, you know, we're now building up to about 50%. So when we got whacked, we had dropped all the way down to we lost probably about 65% of our business, 65%. And so now we have worked our way up to about 50% of it. But again, you know, we're far off the numbers that we were at last year, but we're thriving. We're thriving. We're learning to work with those numbers, because I tell people this: you were at those numbers before, and what did you do when you were at those numbers before? So if your business was 300,000, you were moving. If you're at 500,000, you were finding a way to keep moving. And so you adjust, you make moves. And even with the staff, it's like you got less business, but you still have more staff. So we have, again, we rotate people in and out. That's one of the things that we do. So you could come in this week, maybe you're working 3 days a week, maybe you're working 4 days a week. So we rotate people, and we have kept all of our staff. So Carrie, what are you doing? What does business look like now with this, since you've been hit with this virus, versus before when you were just going full steam ahead?
I mean, I think for us, yeah, we've been hit pretty hard too. I would say we're down 40% right now. So we're doing 60% capacity where we were. We're still getting cancellations, which really surprises me. And some people are delaying until June. So they're putting off their cleaning until June, when all the social distancing is lifted. And I feel like they're watching a lot of news channels that are still, just telling them to stay in their homes and not resume normal life. And I get it. I understand why people are cautious. And I mean, let's look at New York. They're in a whole different, I mean, that's a different ball game than where I am, looking at this from Tampa, Florida. So that's a completely unique situation. And I think that each of us have to look at our, location and determine what's best for our employees and for, our customers. But for me, I see our industry in general as a whole becoming more valuable. So because we clean, and yes, we are luxury, but because we clean and protect, we're keeping them safe. That's the message. If you can just figure out how to shift your messaging towards we keep you safe, I think in general, people see us more valuable now than ever, because we're keeping their home safe from viruses and bacteria that can make them sick. So I think when life resumes as normal, we should see a big V curve. We should shoot back up and get more customers than we had before, because now we're more valuable.
Great answer. Elena.
Well, I just think that we didn't take, I mean, because we kept, being open, we took year to date, we're about the same. We had a strong beginning of the year though. So month to month, we're down to like, I think 75% of our normal business. We're more profitable. So actually it turned out to be kind of a blessing, even though I never asked for that kind of blessing, but it's turning out okay, and it's upward trend. I honestly don't even know what's going to happen. Now we have like murder hornets and something like that, right? That's coming out. So the reality is it's so unpredictable right now. I really don't know. So I want to be super cautious, preserve the resources, not to like go out and make big purchases, big commitments. Just be very kind of like strategic about where I'm investing, how I'm positioning my company, be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. A lot of like top players in the industry are reaching out to the competitors and saying, hey, if you guys want to sell your client list right now, your assets, I'm here, right? So we've done that. So if you're in the Vegas area and you're listening to this, reach out to me. No, but it's true, because, and I've seen people buying other people out, because a lot of people are just throwing the towel in right now. And that's an opportunity to buy their clients. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And so it's both of you get to benefit from that. So so it's, for me, it's unpredictable. I look at it also as like my first degree in economics. I look at it as an economist, it's unprecedented. As a lawyer, it's unprecedented. So it's like, as a business owner, I just don't know. I know that in the short term, we're going to get really hurt because it's Las Vegas. However, if you think about it, the customers who each of us have in our different jurisdictions, are not economically going to be affected that much.
Right.
If you think about it, they don't. Out of all of our customers, we probably have one or two who said that, oh, we have to, we lost a job, or one of the spouses lost a job. Everybody else, like, they're like, I don't even feel it. They're still spending money, they're still doing things. So, and they're not gonna start cleaning their own home. So that is very important thing to remember. So they might be afraid, they might be okay with home dirty for a while, but eventually they're gonna be like, that's it, that's enough. Like, I need somebody to do it. And I actually started putting messaging out there from the beginning saying, now is not the time for amateurs to clean your house. And amateurs means you, the customer, right? Like, you don't know how to do it. Let us do it. We're the professionals. We have the PPE. We have the knowledge. We know how to actually do it. When you do it, It's like I learned how to cook and I was learning how to cook and I cut my finger and fingernail. I almost sheared off. So that's amateur, right? So go for professional. So we are the professionals. So just remember that and just position yourself as such and just go for it. It's out there. The business is out there. It's gonna come back. They don't know how to clean their toilet, right? They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to clean the shower stall. They just don't. It's not like anybody can do it, you know? So they need us and they still have the money. And those are the two important things to remember about that.
You know what? It's so funny that you were saying about, if the competition is on this call. So definitely if my competition is on this call, this is where I'm coming from. Bottom line is I'm a shark and I got to eat. And if I smell blood, I'm coming for you. And the bottom line is that you got to look at it this way. Okay, you don't have all your customer base back, but why is your competition still open? So if your
Yes.
competition, they have some houses to clean. So I'm coming after you, and I'm coming after you at full force, and I will pound you because if there's houses to be clean, you can't have 4 or 5 competitors out there. Someone's got to go. And that's the one thing that we have to think about is right now, we're in battle. We're in war right now. So I have to come take it, I think this has been a great call. One last question, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Someone's wondering about, okay, if they have this money, right, with the PPP money, and they're wondering about the payroll. This payroll is coming out of, and they want to pay themselves, okay? So they want to pay themselves, but the payroll is coming out of the same bank. So I would say, I guess the question is what they're asking is about if it's coming out of the same bank and they got to pay themselves, is there an issue?
I would say go to the bank. Go to your banker who's going to be in charge of forgiving. So I'm so happy that our PPP loan was given to us by like a small like local bank who really likes us and cheers on, and they hold the loan for our office building too. So I can always email them saying like, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Is that okay? Because you want to ask the person who's going to be forgiving you for that. And a lot of times they'll say, I have no idea. SB didn't tell us anything, which is fine. But at least like you get this like a first like what do you call it, like the actual source responding, right? If I say it's okay and then you do it and then you get in trouble, so that's not going to help you at all. Elena said that, but go ask your banker for sure.
Terrific. So we're going to leave off, and I want to start with each of us. Is what do we want to leave for the business owner right now to give them something to thrive? What do we want to give them as they decide to go at this thing full steam? What do they need to do? What do they need to have? Where do they need to be positioned at? Carrie?
I mean, I think it goes back to what we said right from the start is you've got to have the right mindset. If you're going to survive this, you have to be the buffalo. Again, you've got to go into it with a winning mindset. It's not going to take you down. You just got to get on the other side of this. And if you sit back and wait and feel sorry for yourself and let the media impact all your decisions and you're just going to sit at home with your mask on and not do anything, I mean, you're not going to make it. But if you just shift your mindset and you say, you know what, I'm going to come out of this. This virus will be behind us one day, someday, and I'm going to make it. And I mean, that goes along with you've got to be the leader in your business. Your employees are looking at you as the role model and they're looking to you for direction. And if you show that you're afraid or you're fearful or just showing that emotion, they're not going to show up for your customers either. You've got to be the example that that you're going to come out of this. This is not going to take you down. And when you stand up in your business and your employees see you stand up, that's gonna take off, and they're gonna see that they're in good hands and that the future is bright. So to me, it's all about mindset and just showing up and being the leader that you need to be in your business.
Oh, you're a savage, Carrie. Elena.
I'm going to say the same thing as I said yesterday when we chatted about this, is be part of the community. You're not alone. And if you're listening to this call, you probably already are, but put more focus into it because right now it's a hunt for resources, for the knowledge. we need, where do you buy shoe covers? Where do you find Lysol? Where do you find best employees? What do I do with PPP? It's information. And so people who are locked out of the community, they're going to be like this little, gazelle who got left out and got eaten by the tiger, by Alonzo, so you just have to like be part of the pack so you can cross learn, so you can get some support. Join ARCSI if you're not already. Join Facebook groups, join Conquer. There's all these communities out there of like-minded entrepreneurs, super supportive of each other, right? Like, so I don't know what I would do without my community. I don't know what I would do without you guys. It's really hard to survive by yourself. So be a part of the tribe. That's my advice.
And what's your advice, Alonzo?
Yeah.
My mother always raised us like this. It was always only the strong survive. And so that's how I grew up. You got to be strong to survive. You got to deal with getting beat up. You got to deal with getting jumped or ganged or whatever, but you got to find a way to survive. But guess what? I'm growing up now, and I'm not thinking about surviving. I'm thinking about only thriving. So that's how it just switched on me, because right now, where I'm at, it's just going through and just really just pushing to higher levels, and just having an unstoppable nature about myself. Because one, I believe in me. I believe in me. And I looked at it from this standpoint as when things were gonna, get a little bit fuzzy or things were gonna go in a certain direction, I wanted to have different streams of income coming in. I didn't just want one stream of income, because I know if that one stream got shut down, then I was going to be in a predicament. So when I did shut my business down for a couple of weeks, there was still money coming in. So you want to make sure that you create different streams of income that you can have. You can be, while you're sleeping, your money's making money. That's the position you want to be in. So I mean, hey, I enjoy you guys. I love you guys, and people are going to be seeing more of us. We're going to be doing more things together, and I'm looking forward to it. Just the chemistry that we have together is just something that we want to we just want to give that to others. We just want to give them the energy and encourage them and inspire them and push them to be the best entrepreneur and business owner they can be. And they're going to definitely hear more from us. And I'm looking forward to keep doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
I'm honored.
So everyone, thank you for joining us. Again, this is recorded. Aaron's going to make sure that you get a recording. Aaron, is there anything else you want to let them know about, any upcoming events or anything they should be aware of?
It's funny you should say that. Next week, and we have a sneak peek for one of our speakers at the ISSA show. We have Brandon Vaughn is going to be on next week doing a Conquer Live. We're having a Conquer Live workshop at the show this year on the very first afternoon, on Monday afternoon, October 26th. We have Kedma O will be speaking right after lunch, and then we go into a session with Brandon Vaughn. We are thrilled to have Brandon Vaughn on next week, so you can start learning next week how you can conquer your residential cleaning company. We will have Kedma O in a very special Thursday afternoon Hot Topic webinar on May 21st. And just as another tease, show registration actually opens this week. So pre-register so you can save $200 on your show registration and get signed up for this monumentous event, because I guarantee you do not want to miss this show in Chicago. You're looking at 3 of the speakers right now, but we'll have the full conference schedule will be up online this week. In addition to, like I said, you can save $200 on your show registration when it opens this week. So thank you very much to all of our speakers today. I wish you could hear the applause from everybody, because it was a great webinar. It was a great roundtable. Thank you for everybody that joined us today, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.